And now it's time for a very simple fish dish. It's called Godfather Fish Italiani, and it's a very simple dish. It doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. It doesn't cost you a lot of windows on your food mover. Let me show you the ingredients now. We're going to start off with 4 pieces of tilapia. You can use white fish or any full-bodied fish. Just make sure there's no bones and they're filleted. But today I'm using tilapia. Love that name. And what I do is I squeeze lemon juice and put a little pepper on it, and then we're going to saute them on each side in a few minutes. I'll show you how to do that. Over here we have a half a cup of onions, and I cut them up really fine. We're going to put them in the chicken broth, and that's going to really taste delicious. We're going to saute them too. We have here 1 cup and a third of little cherry tomatoes. I chose the golden and the red because I think those colors are really pretty, and they're very sweet tomatoes. We have some lemon juice because I'm going to put some lemon juice on top of the fish as we cook it. I have a little bit of basil. A little bit goes a long, long way. You don't need a whole bunch of it, but you have to chop it really, really fine. And then you have 3/4 cups of vegetable broth. So these are all the ingredients. Let's make the dish. I got this non-stick pan, really nice little bit of Pam right here, olive oil Pam. You put it in there. Right away, you put your fish fillets in, and you can hear them starting to sizzle. You're going to want to put these in the pan for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So see, this is a really good non-stick pan. I put some Pam in it. I'm going to add a little lemon juice. A little lemon juice for the fish gives it lots of flavor, no calories. And then a little black pepper on the top. And you can just smell, that smells so good. We're just searing it. And you just keep it like that. Try to separate them. And you keep it like that and get that lemon juice all around and the black pepper. And you saute this until it starts to get a little brown on the top, but don't overcook them. You can see around the edges, they're starting to get a little seared. And that's what you're really doing here. Let's see if this is ready. Okay, and you flip them. Flip them, you can see they're nice and white. Beautiful tilapia! Okay? And right as it's cooking, you can see all the bubbles here. That's the lemon juice and the black pepper and a little bit of this olive oil Pam. And it smells so good. And you move that around. And then when these fillets are done, you're going to just take them out, but keep the pan because we're going to make the sauce in it. These are the fillets of tilapia, and you can see nice and brown. Now, in that same pan that we used before, we're going to put that same olive oil in, olive oil Pam, and we're going to start the onions. And we're going to let those saute a little bit, and you can hear the sizzle. You know, you don't want to cook onions on a high heat. You want to brown them. And you know, what I had to learn is once you put them down, you have to leave them there. I'm going to put a little bit of onion powder on the top. I use garlic powder and onion powder a lot because it just enhances the flavor. So if you're using garlic, a little garlic powder will bring it out more. And if you're using onions like we're using, then you can also put a little onion powder, and you can hear them sizzle. But I want to turn them. Nope, it's not time yet. But they smell real good. All right, now they're full of the Pam, a little bit of olive oil, so you can see right now they're starting to turn color. And we want them to be sort of a golden brown. So I want to turn them. No, I can't turn them. And you start to see this and it's the non-stick. You got to get a new one. If your old one, it doesn't have non-stick anymore, and you just saute those onions. Now let me show you our next step. While those onions are sauteing, remember we do not have a lot of ingredients in this dish. It is a very full of flavor dish, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff in it because everything that I'm using tastes fantastic with tilapia. All right, so now we're going to put our vegetable broth in. Ooh. This is the sauce for the fish. And now we're going to cook this. The vegetable broth and the onions. And then we're going to add, how beautiful is this? Cut up cherry tomatoes in yellow and red. And what's going to happen is these tomatoes are going to cook with the onions, and you saute them, and the tomatoes will start to break down. You'll start to see that their skin will get a little wrinkly, and then I put a little olive olay in it, oil of olay, for the wrinkles, because you don't want these tomatoes with wrinkles. A little bit of black pepper on the top. And what you're going to do now, on a low heat, I wish you were here to smell this. You can see the onions. And what you want to do is cook it down for about 5 minutes, like this. It will go to a light boil, and you keep turning it and letting it get all that flavor, because the tomatoes will break down, get with the onions and the vegetable broth. And then I told you about our basil, and make little pockets of basil like this. So you don't really need a lot of it. Basil's very strong. Now look at this. And Marlon Brando used to eat this fish on the set of the Godfather movie, and someone passed it down to me, and well, I'm passing it to you. Now look at that. There's no fat in this dish. The fat-free chicken broth, the onions, you can see now it's bubbling a little bit, and you'll cook this down for 5 minutes. Now this is how your sauce will look, just putting it on low and cooking it for around 5 minutes. You can see that a lot of the vegetable broth has been reduced, and the tomatoes have sort of melted with the onions and the basil. Remember to cut that basil up, chop it really thin. Now, you know, we just pan-seared the fillets, but now we have to cook them. You put the fillets right on top of your tomatoes, because the fish still have to cook, but now they're going to cook and steam with the onions and the tomatoes and the basil. Put tin foil on and simmer for about 3 minutes until the fish is done. How good does this look? You have your fillets of tilapia, and now you see the onions and tomatoes and the basil, and you see this delicious broth. And this is what's going to cost you. For each person, because this is for 4, you're going to get 3 protein windows and 1 vegetable window. And remember, you haven't had a starch yet or any fats. You could serve the filet of fish with some broccoli or some sugar snaps or string beans, and also some brown rice or some whole wheat pasta, or how about a small yam? And that's it. Godfather Fish Italiane. Ciao.